The Universal DNA system of Akasha. Turn on a light inside your room and look at it directly. Now turn off the light, turn away and close your eyes. But now you see the light is still there, exactly fixed upon your retina, perfectly recording the way it was, adding a memory of history of you and your experience in perpetual motion. It is in your mind, it is in your thought, it is in your DNA. And soon it seemed to fade, but it's in you and that dimension of where it is stored and recorded. I tell you this, you just created a new you with wider perspectives, for you are given a new experience. It is in your memory, or where you cannot be conscious of this memory. Fine, it is in Akasha, the memory pages of the universe. It can never go away. Welcome to the Akasha, where everything is consistently multiplied and made new with new experiences day by day. I tell you this, the new experience will alter your perception of this life forever, no matter what you do going forward. Because Akasha is one web which is replicated by the World Wide Web, your experiences shall alter that of the other beings on this plane. I mean, this light that you now record was recorded for all of us. For Akasha is a web, I say, which means that I will be affected to some degree by your experience. Every fleeting thing, every fleeting thing, everything of sight and sound will be forever recorded. There are basic principles like as above, so below, as without, so within, as in the physical, so in the spiritual. When you understand how to engage these, you understand a whole lot more how to engage with Akasha. As a little child, my best friend was disconnection with perpetual motion, and because of it, I was so many times shocked by things that I saw which seemed impossible before I understood Akasha. It is impossible until you know it. It is impractical until you discover how natural the reality in its perpetuating effect is. Hello, my people. Skywalker coming again from this darkness, bearing this beam of light. To follow this wonderful path of enlightenment, I suggest you subscribe to the channel. Even hit the notification bell, for we will raise the levels of thought each day as we move along. We are on a mission to add 2 dimensions to the 3D. It is not even that hard. It was never magic, just always a level of discerning. And in our case, all it will take is additional vocabulary words to perceive. The wonderful Akasha is perfectly replicated by the World Wide Web with technology. My divine spirit is passionate about this day. It feels like the adrenaline rush. How many times will I tell you humans to go and take your victory? The day of the matrix is over. It is you who are in a useless state of fear and disbelief. But soon you will see that I kid you not. Soon hard questions will be asked of their religions, particularly Christianity and its evil blood sacrifice culture. When you see the questions being boldly asked, take it as a sign of the freeing of the captives, for the fear of blasphemy will no longer be a trap or a deterrent. When the brilliance of a star, thousands of light years off in space, is gone out, it seems as if it is no more on its existing realm. It is now like unto a dead shell. Yet we see that star in its living form, thousands of light years away, as its living reality is still in the presence of Akashic record. It is alive too, for the light glows upon the earth from afar. No, nothing ever really goes away. No record is ever fully taken. All that occurs is new wisdom, new perspectives, and new evolutions. I want you to embrace Akasha from these different angles. I want you to come to the light of omnipresence. The Akasha is the light and mind of the all in its perpetual motion. The value of Akasha is highly underrated by man who sees but just a little. In this lifetime, we can all raise our ability to see and discern to the awesome degree. We will feel as if we were reborn as gods. We lost connection to Akasha by words and their definitions being altered are taken away, and words are also defined by cults and events. To change natal language of people would be the first step of weakening them by supremacy. When we change their natal languages, that is what happened. We weaken them by acts of supremacy. We are all cultivated by Akasha. We are all like trees that spring from their roots, and this is how we stay in the knowing of self. It works if we leave one country and then goes to the other by ourselves. It does work. Our scope is expanded. However, a people that were uprooted or ravaged and their cultures, their words often repeated, and all other Akashic items uprooted are being brought to the degree of mediocrity and servitude. They will not be sober anymore. Akasha Akasha is within the scope of the operating principles of universal mind. Go to the side of a little pond and then show a rock in the middle of the water. The ripples rise in a circular motion and move to the edge of the pond. These words are the equal reaction, defining the action. They also rise upwards in that same circular motion, but you do not perceive them in the air. You only see those illuminated by water because the actual details occurred at the unseen realm. But the physical impact of water intervening makes you see the ripples come to you and stop at the edge of the pond at the water line. Only they did not stop. All that stopped was the physical illuminating factor of water. Those ripples continued out towards you and into you and through you and going for eternity at every length and degree. Neither will they ever stop being and becoming for the length and breadth of all eternity. You have now gained a new perspective, but that one did, and this has transformed you to higher perspectives. Even though at a minute scale, it is now written in your DNA for good, and it will pass inside your genes to all your generations to eternity. Yet, you say that it was a small thing and it might become insignificant. To a large degree, you will be correct. And this is where we pick up on new perspectives that make you both right and wrong. Even the minute scales can be amplified by many factors, and this is the reason why we can hear or see the thing that has fallen below the radar of consciousness. We do it all the time by way of technology. We magnify the details of the Akasha. It is what radios and televisions do, for example. What radios and televisions and what the World Wide Web does is to replicate the wisdom and the powers we have in Akasha, because our understanding and our connection to Akasha was demeaned, taken away, and we that practiced them were chastised and destroyed as evil witches. The magic was given, but only to the diviners endorsed by the matrix. Gone are the days when the random individual would connect and learn without artificial gadgets. These original godlike beings of the earth access the wisdom of the Akasha without corrupted science. The corrupted science is still trying to understand or prove the many things that the natural child of Akasha was teaching eons ago, and now they come to the door where they cannot find words to describe, and now it goes beyond them. That again, it seems like magic. Only the pure and natural student of Akasha will actually rise to the zenith of the sun, for the universe has embraced him. Mother Earth nurtured and chose him to ascend to Father Heaven. Yes, The body revealed to him the way to the Father that she made intercourse with to create him. I wish you will find in this the joy of embracing your eternity. They use words like immortality, which is no good. They that use these kinds of words have made the agreement with death. Don't you see? There is no such immortality. All is mundane. The universe is diverse, and spirit is perpetual being. But again, twist a nail, and it turns into a screw. Information is written into it. If you live in a forest and you pass by oak trees every day, it becomes a minor impression to your memory. It is insignificant. However, the day when you were trying to mark a path and you say it is by the oak tree that I marked with a piece of guava stick, you magnify the impression of something insignificant. This is where we begin to develop our minds at understanding perpetual cosmic spells, and also to understand how to write memories by blood and to create our futures by posterity. This also cuts into the science of God spells, but not all God spells were bad. In fact, no God spell was ever bad before they were corrupted by the Matrix. I will have to explain these blood rituals that had nothing to do with drinking of blood and vampirism. It is simply writing data to the blood, our DNA, to manifest the blood of salvation for future children yet to be born. We write our future from the past by the Akasha because we know that we, even as men, are all gods. We are all gods because Akasha is intrinsic. We are of the Akasha, and Akasha is the valley of the mind of God. We are its DNA. We are replicas. The replicas are perfectly written codes, but we do not yet understand that even after the child is born, he still receives genetical writings to his blood from the experiences of his father 1,000 miles away. If your hand was in Iceland and you in Dubai, you still receive the records of any trauma faced by your hand. So, all your memories are in your blood. A DNA strand is the absolute of you, to include your memories, and even those memories now created in perpetual motion. The only difference is if or how they were magnified or brought to relevance in the moment. This is all replicated in the workings of technology. Everything is one. All is accessible everywhere. If I speak on my end of the phone, you hear it instantly. And do not tell me that it's technology. Technology merely utilizes what already was the formulas of the universe. If you allow that which is outside of you by your own free will to come inside of you with new autonomy, then you are possessed by that ulterior force. No matter how you love the deity, you need not invite it to come inside of you, for that is a cult possession. It is a demon culture practice. We are all sufficient by the universe and in creation which we all perpetuate. If you engage me to that degree, you give me access to understanding your energy and define your thoughts or mindset. Therefore, it will not be advisable to depart from your own soul and understanding to trust in external entities, especially those that make suggestions of blood sacrifice. These things are natural. These things that I tell you now are natural. Many of us just don't know how to listen. Many of us will never hear. There is all the information. Go to silence and listen. You will hear and you will know. But you watch the diviners of the Matrix perform these very arts I speak about, and you ignore the warning. Make yourself susceptible to them and then say that I am superstitious. If I can show you 1,000 times where it is done exactly to the letter, and if I can point you there directly at the thing, and then you can say it is not there, I know that you are just supposed to be where you are. We, the ancients, did spells with trauma to affect goodness and not evil, or to create goodness and not evil. This level of trauma was only defined as to the degree of how the benevolent spirit of the universe operates. Like as I said, you must twist the nail to turn it into a screw. But this was mostly trauma and our own will. For example, if we had to repeat a mantra for the thousands of times in a day, we twist the nail, but it is painful. We mark that information to our DNA. We also use the pain of the event to amplify the emotions in that record within our blood. And now our blood will inform and save our children in the future. We might create one or two great messiahs within a certain span of time, even up to 2000 years. They will know the information from within, but they will say that God inspires them. Yes, God inspires them. We, the ancestors, are the gods in their blood. We knew them before they were even implanted as a sperm, much less to emerge from the uterus of their mothers as the newborn prodigy. We always use the powers of art and science combined. We can empower them with gifts of poetry and music, for example, and they will want to do nothing else in life than that we applied to the passion in the blood. We do these things in order to remember truths or to continue eon old fights for the righteous causes. They that have stolen the wisdom of the gods have been doing the evil thing, and you believe them. By this we expect that you will come to see the truth, and the pillars of the matrix shall be broken. You only see the little man speaking words you wonder if you should say make sense. But remember this, remember, these are pioneers that sacrifice for all to light the mightiest spark. How shall they be paid? How will you pay them? Humans love to repay with hate for love. The ancestors give their culture to the masses, so they will stay to the root of the tree of Akasha. They give them the names of people, places, and things, and they give them the words often repeated to keep all their wisdoms and memories close. They keep all things connected organically, and in the golden ages, you do not have to go to school to learn. You see all that is written in the cosmic and to perpetual motion, and you can tell all the details of events for eons. This is how I work in Akasha. This is how I saw my journey through a people coming from as far as India. This is how we understand the stories of the Indians and the destruction of the black priests, the Caucasians of the Caucasus Mountains, whose identities were stolen after this same light that I tried to introduce to you was taken, and now it is hidden only to you. The highest part of this light can never be taught to them, but it can be learned and accessed by Akashic degrees. This higher wisdom is not intelligence, it is energy. You are the ones who can access it. We fought for peace even from the destruction of golden ages, but these were caused by universal principles of cause and effect. We aspire to higher causes, and the only way to turn a nail into a screw was to twist it. We were twisted, and agony is hard, but we have overcome. In order to hold the pillar, we must pound that nail with the hammer. All traumas we receive like bread being baked in the oven. We are at the threshold of that semblance of paradise, a great respite point before the eternal paradise. We will be greater than the greatest we have ever been. When our societies were cast down, we did rituals to make records to our children by life saving blood, not blood to drink in sweet communion. We were shunning these vampires, not trying to be them. We impacted the records by trauma, and we magnified our passions inside of the blood. For the blood is where the great part of spirit rests. We imprinted those memories. We imprinted every single memory to our blood. This blood would become posterity. In one ritual, we use the words to often repeat for thousands of years. As you have poems and rhymes and parables, many words we use by the playing of drums and other instruments, and we repeated the mantra by word of mouth. We did all of this, and we brought forth children. This is what we did to our blood to make it Akashic, for only the wisdom of Akasha will save. We kept these societal cultures intact. If a lesson is pinned to a song, for example, that file at the right time, 1,000 years from now, will be open to that child at the playing of that song. We keep these cultures going to perpetual motion, so the same song will play in its time. There will be 1,000 children, but only one will be triggered. It is like a random event. 10 messiahs might come, or maybe but only one. Yet, by the laws of averages, the knowledge will remain and will never be taken, and at the right time, the prodigy will ever come. He might grow from a boy to a man and show no sign of that wisdom, or he might come from the uterus a prodigy. It is when that trigger is given and received. For the bullet stays dormant until the trigger is pulled. They will wonder how he knows these things. He will say that God inspires him. Yes, this is the way of God. Even your high school teacher is your ancestry. Your ancestry is God in you. This demonic paradigm must be broken. This demonic paradigm must be broken. At the beginning, the dear empaths that knew no war came with love and words softly spoken. The vampires ravaged them, stole their energies, and drank their blood. These entities have no care for conscience, and they put no merit in righteousness. Therefore, by Aquarius and in the angry power of Saturn, conscience have sent out its own legion, and you demons bear witness to this, that we come with fire and we burn with glee. The matrix is going down, and the demons of the matrix, they bring trauma to our people. They sodomize even our males and brought women to fear. They implant these fears by orgies of sexual assaults across all dimensions. They impregnated the bodies and corrupted their bloodlines, and they put their testicles or testaments to everything, even into our words, and even into our divine way, thinking to impregnate the minds of the masses. They defiled us for thousands of years. Even from the start of the 1,000 years war, it never ceased, but now it even continues. We hold fast by Akasha, and now the weather has changed, that they must leave. They use the principle of these memory spells in the following way, and by their own limited understanding of Akasha. They brought the sword, telling us to fear and obey or die by the sword. And then they brought the written testaments, replicating the balls of the rapists, telling us to fear or be ravaged into torment. Sex magic is most powerful, for all things perceived and even conceived were by intercourse. That which was perceived came by natural intercourse between feminine and masculine. That which was conceived came by the abominable way, that one pole was corrupted into the other, and the abominable principle was created. And so they replicated this principle in the flesh and tell you that it is the natural way. They distract and disconnect the subject from his intrinsic way of Akasha. And these Germanic males at the start of the 1,000 years war despise women, but this culture was created for a reason that only the wizards at the highest level will be able to fathom. It may be said to you by words, but you will hear the words only, and they will mean nothing until you achieve the standard. It is all about intercourse, right between the will creation and that which was manifested. You can see it as one article of sex magic. Those that killed Christ in their consciences to follow the way of these vampires will continue to follow the path down the abyss for eternity. That much should be obvious to even the less discernible eyes. So, trauma can be the best amplifier of a memory inside the blood. It is why you might be afraid of heights, but you can't figure out why. However, your great grandmother gave it to you as a legacy. You were the random pick for the effect of that trauma. However, every single soul with the same populous history can be made to be affected by DNA memory spells, at least to a certain degree. You did not know your great grandfather, much less to know how he was traumatized after falling from a great height, but his DNA knows it. By the DNA memory of Akasha, we were made to evolve and be better. What did not serve us well, we learn to avoid or transcend. So, those evil ones that bowled off the heads of the captive black man in the past created the game called bowling. Now, was it just for a joke? Was it a coincidence to refer to the act of framing and wrongfully accusing a person by the title of the male gender of a particular race? Or as what we mean to blacklist? Or how black, which was the divine shade of all creation, becomes the unholy place in modern languages? Do these events occur for no reason? They are triggers to connect them perpetually to their trauma, which is still igniting in their DNA. Because of the trauma, the word aboriginal becomes 10 times more effective, for the original man was always abhorred by the one that was imposed, that mankind and offspring of man, who was told that he came more advanced to replace the other, but he was lied to. You cannot be more advanced than the tree of life itself, which is connected root, branch, leaf, and stem. Nowhere in the universe does this happen. You can be attached to the tree upon which you belong, but never will you be superior. The fact that you are mankind tells that story. How can you be first to God, where the Akasha will keep the least DNA records of you? And they rewrote the Akashic records by changing the face of the man. They gave him many races and many stories describing where all these races came from. Each name that man held in each place that man went became a name to describe a separate race as estranged from man. With all they do, the Akasha has survived in us. They tell our black mothers that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom because of the trauma of them trying not to bow to the assault when fear was applied to ravage them. They tell them that Jesus, their Lord, who used words like thee, thou, and thine, advises them to suffer. Yes, suffer. It is hard to do, but suffer their little children to come unto him, the vicious master, to be sodomized and abused in every different way. And they will still do the rituals in the churches deliberately to this day. It is sex magic, DNA memory spells, and those that do these things do know why they do them. They tell the oppressed to wait on the Lord and obey their masters because they work the God spell by Akasha. They tell them that the canon is the name of the scriptural laws they must fear, obey these laws, and bring their children to do so. No one fears and bring their children like the black woman who had to sit on those cannonballs after refusing to be assaulted and ravaged. So the wicked Lord in anger tells them it is either their balls or the cannonball. Then they let them sit on the hottest one to blister and even to die. The memories are in the DNA and they remember the word cannon by subliminal effect. Cannons that are shaped like penises with their wheels, the scrotum, and they do have the biggest balls. And they tell them that the law comes in those two testicles or testaments. They make laws upon their testaments and they swear by them, the instruments of torment that the black woman fears. No, I do not come to ridicule a man who thinks his purpose is best served by him doing like a woman. I am here to speak back to a system that believes that it can usurp the throne of Alpha by interfering with the pure and free will of we, the ancients who have returned. The reaction of the black Jamaican man, because of all the years of torment, was never to run away and surrender. That part of the spell backfired. The reaction of the Jamaican male to the evilous DNA memory spells when they come to apply the effect of sodomy in order to effeminate their masculine, the reaction of the Jamaican male is boom bye bye. It is a defensive way. They put up their guards to defend themselves. The matrix will fall, for they intended that our men, like our women, would grovel in fear, but they only become more fearless. The reaction of our males to defend themselves is what, by all righteousness, we, the fathers, endorse. King Alpha rides King Alpha rise again upon the wind, and we shall rescue the woman. The Akasha is in us. The Akasha is alive, my people. Look within. Take silence and look within. See you have the power. Speak out your will and let them hear it. Whatever you request by righteous order, these demons and abominable vampires are now subject to obey you. The reaction of all the heavens to the tyranny of these evil beings in this fiery age of divine ear is that the matrix is being cut and cast down. You will no longer have fear. We come with fire and we burn with glee. Peace out.